Hi, good morning everyone. Welcome to vPower. This is Anupam Pushkar, and in this video we are going to see Azure Update Manager. Microsoft has recently made it to a GA from the preview, and it works a little different from the traditional where you have to install a lot of agents and all. It support your Arc as well. Let's quickly go and see it. So once you go to Azure Update Manager, this is the console what you see, and under machines you can see what all machines are discovered. In my case, I'm having one coming from Azure Arc, one virtual machine. My virtual machine is basically a Linux machine, whereas Azure Arc is a Windows machine. So there is some caveat with Azure Arc, which I'm going to show you at a later stage, but there are a few settings. So if you go on settings, you can see on the Update Manager, you can add machines. Now, so once we click add machine, it will take some time. In my case, I have just two VMs. So I will get my first as a Linux VM, another is a DC01, which is my coming from Azure Arc on-prem. So I'll select both of them. You can see since this is both are connected and one is my local, so it can be discovered easily. Once you add, you can see total two machine, one Azure and one coming from Arc enabled. You can see once you scroll down below, one is update status. So I have not done any update scan, so you can click and do your update scan by yourself, or you can schedule any of the update scan as well. So you can see that you have to enable it. So basically you can have an Azure policy also, or you can update your update settings. So based on whatever your use case is, based on that we can do that setting. In my case, I'll just use update setting. In update setting, we'll click on add machines. So as we can see, there are two machines as well. So we'll click on add. Now what is the update mechanism? So I'm first of all is going to enable it, and for Linux VM as well as Arc, both is enabled. So any hot patches or something, these are grayed out at this stage. Now we'll quickly review it and save the settings. So after saving, all looks good. Now we'll select for a quick update. We'll initiate a manual sync. Now we'll quickly scan and see. Let's go back to Azure Update Manager. Now we'll go to machines. Let's do a check for update manually. We'll do for Arc VM. So you can say SS now. Now once you do it, it will instantly start it, or you can do a schedule also. Now let me select both the VMSs now. Okay, so this assessment will take a while. Once this assessment is done, I'll come back to you. You can also schedule for the patch update. I'll show you all these things at a later stage of the video. So I skipped the video. It took odd 5 minutes just for two VMs, and we can see my assessment has failed for my Arc, whereas for the Azure VM it is showing right. Now we can see the error very clearly. It's saying UE region is not supported, right? So this is something which we have to keep in mind, that my UE region does not support. If we come back to documentation, you can see Azure Virtual Machine, which support Update Manager. There is no limitations available for all reason. But when you see Azure Arc, you cannot find UAE North in this document. Basically, it does not support for you in North at this point of time where I am, but you can see what all your reasons are supported. So based on that, you can configure your Azure Arc at this point of time. So for now, we will just use our Azure VM as our Arc does not work. We can see for the Linux virtual machine, which is an Azure VM, we can see an update, and we can see there are 24 updates which are required, uh, which are more important ones. So let's click on one-time update. Let's do schedule update. So I'll select that VM, select on schedule VM. We'll create one. We are using existing one. I'll use my existing Linux test VM. Yeah, give any configuration name, whatever configuration name you want to give. The kind of an update package you have, follow that standard that I'm going to update on that particular date and time. In my case, I will. So this is a standard one, which is a guest, where Azure VM are our server. Now reboot. So I would say that whatever policy you want to follow, you follow that. reboot if required, because I'll take a downtime window on that particular period. That is when this reboot will happen as per the schedule. Now, right side you can see the schedule start on, what is the maintenance window for how long you want, and if you want to repeat in a day or something like that. So those information you can give. Once you click on next, you will have scoping. So this is called a dynamic scoping, where you can dynamically allocate the resources whenever it adds into your organization. Any new VMs comes in. Now you can select a resource group. Again, you have more filter option, that within that resource group, within that subscription you have multiple resource group want to select, or any reason you want to select, kind of OS you want to select, or you can specify any tag. So if you have each VM based on tag, and that is what I generally recommend, that make sure that you have a VM with a tag based policy, that on this particular day the policy will be updated, and you confirm to the application owner that on this particular tag day you are going to have a reboot, so that you don't have to go through that standard approval cycle, and you have auto awareness that on this particular day my reboot is going to happen. So you can specify those kind of attacks, that it is going to reboot on XYZ that date. So your all VMs are part of your patch group. So let me write something here. Reboot group, Wednesday 10. Okay. uh, Whatever your standards are, however you follow, so make sure you can do that. Now, whichever application are part of that tag are by default part of your dynamic scopes. So we'll go on next. Now you can see what all the updates are there. So critical updates, security updates are there for Windows. Linux also security updates and critical updates are there. Now you can see included KBID packages also. If there are something specific, you can definitely specify that. You can include any additional packages you want, because it does have feature packages and service packages, and also again this require a lot of testing and everything, but based on your requirement you can do that. Tags, click on next, and let's just run a final validation. It takes a while. Once the validation is done, you can create the rules. After the validation success, we'll initiate the deployment or creation of our maintenance configuration. It is going to store on the same RG. It takes a while, does not take much time. It will take a couple of seconds. Make sure that you have validated all the information. Let's wait for this deployment to complete. Yes, our deployment is in progress and it's completed. Now we can quickly go back to the resource and validate all the information. How does basically this update looks like, maintenance configuration. So on the left side you can see your all this requirements. So it is manage resources, schedule maintenance, whatever it is. On the left side you have dynamic scoping, so you can view that what all the dynamic scopes we have configured, and what all resource I've discovered because of that dynamic scopes, right? So you can have that. You can see your schedule and whatever the configuration for the updates you have done, so you can see all the definition. Now I cannot wait for the schedule to kick in our case. For our video, what we will do is we'll quickly jump to our Linux VM and we'll do one-time update. So not okay, so we'll review it. Now click one-time update, so we'll add the machine which we want to do it. Let's select our test VM, which is my Linux VM, not my ARC, as you're already aware. So we can see 24 pending items. Now we can click on next. Now we can see all the updated items, that these all updates are available, and you can put certain items in your exclude as well. So you can have include, exclude also. When you're doing exclude, you can give that particular name, package name, and then you can see on the top that you have exclude and it is no more on the bottom section. Like these all updates are there, so this has moved, right? So let me quickly remove that, and once I click on save, you can see that on the bottom it came in. Let's go next. Okay, that looks fine. If required, we'll reboot and then update window. Now click on finish. So after clicking finish, guys, it take really long, because for my case it was some like 15 minutes to take an update. We have to have that patience, wait for it, for complete update to happen. And if there is a reboot mentioned and there is a reboot required, it will do. So I've just paused and came back in the video after 15 minutes, so it shows a success. So basically this is all about your update manager, a quick view, and you can again come back here and see the summary. Let's refresh. You will scroll down and you can see that my updates are installed, all are set and good. My critical updates are there and the security updates are there. So this give you a complete and a very simple view that how simplified our update manager has become when using the traditional way, where you have agents and a lot of tedious steps that you need to do for doing an update. And I think it also overcome and give you a central dashboard of all the progress. Now I would say that it definitely helps not using third parties, but again, your business case and use case. But thank you guys, thank you so much for watching this video, and if you have any other feedback, leave on comments. I'll definitely consider on the next video. Thank you, bye bye, take care.